Okay, dokie, people. What is happening? Hopefully, everyone had a fantastic weekend. I know
How we
I
feeling?
did. I had bubble guts that entire Bills Chiefs game. I mean,
Unlucky for you. Chrome's
yeah,
update.
yeah. I know. Honestly, did not put me in a good position, but glad we got the win. We almost gave it away. I mean, we should have won that in a lot of different ways, but hey, moving on to the next round, and that's what matters.
hmm
Hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic day. Sorry for being a little bit late, just recording some content for the week. Do us a massive favor. Go ahead and smash that like button as you join today's stream. Let us know who we're hanging out with in the chat. We see a Styles. We see a Double L's. What's Gucci? We see Colby, Nate, Trey, Daniel Macy's in the chat. Daniel
How are you
Macy
feeling?
has a update 94 days until the NFL draft.
Oh boy.
So we are getting closer and closer. What's up, Waffle Boy, D-Man, Sparrow? What's Gucci, people? Andrew, Skyler, the whole gang is here. Anthony says Ravens up. It's going to be one hell of a game. I'm scared. I am absolutely scared to face the Ravens. That defense is no joke. But welcome in, guys. Thanks for joining. Again, do us a favor. Drop a like as we join today's stream. But today, we are doing a 2024 NFL or 2024 Superflex rookie mock draft, and people are going to have the chance to join us.
That's
How
right.
can people join today's mock draft, Badaki, if they want to mock with us?
Absolutely. All you guys have to do is join our Discord. Discord. Link in the description, and link is going to be here in the chat. So once you join that Discord, all you have to do. I'm trying to get the link here. 1 second. All right, that link is in the chat. So join that Discord. Go to the Flock or Fantasyland tab on the left with the orange footballs. Go to content releases, and that's exactly how you can join each and every mock draft. So once again, Fantasyland tab on the left with the orange footballs, content releases. That's exactly where you can join this mock draft. Let me join this mock draft here.
First come, first serve. We can't decide who gets in and who doesn't, but that's how you get in. What's up, Tyler? What's up, Dominic? Lions to the Super Bowl? I mean, look, Lions are definitely America's team. If it's not the Chiefs, I want it to be the Lions, personally.
I want Ravens. I want Ravens Lions. I think that would just be amazing. If like Lamar's never been to the Super Bowl, and like everyone's been like, "Oh, Lamar can't do it." Been like that for a while, and the fact that the Lions haven't been to the Super Bowl, or like it just would be amazing. So I'm excited for that.
Would be awesome. Either way, I think we're going to have a really. I mean, I think all the teams are really interesting. All the teams are very exciting. I think most people are rooting against the Chiefs because they've done it before, which I understand. But outside of that, all the teams are quite exciting that are in the playoffs. But all right, guys, we're going to do a mock draft. But just before we get into it, we're going to quickly let you guys know about some exciting stuff over here on the channel. Version 1 of our 2024 rookie report is already out, but the exciting news is that version 2 is about to release February 1st. Badaki and I have been scouting more players. We're adding more players, adding more features, some very exciting additions to version 2 of our 2024 rookie report. If you want access to that, all you need to do is sign up to the Flock Fantasy website, use our promo code LAND, and become a Mother Flocker member. You will instantly have access to V1, and then on February 1st, when V2 comes out, you will also have access to that. Our Superflex, our one quarterback rankings will be updated. We dive into all these positions. We'll have tight ends in version 2. Obviously, Pratt and Rattler will be graded, and many more running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and we're adding a bunch of new features, which is really exciting. We've had great feedback from the community already on V1. Excited for V2. You also, when you sign up with our promo code, get our rankings. If you want to look at my rankings or Badaki's rankings, you can add them there. You can see our prospect rankings as well on the site, which is an additional feature that we just added recently, both for Superflex and for one quarterback formats. You also get access to the trade calculator. If you want to use my rankings and make some trades and, make it custom exactly to your league settings, you can do that. If you want to do that with Badaki's rankings, if you want to do that with consensus expert rankings or the consensus community rankings, you can do that. We also have the trade finder for people who sign up with our promo code. Let's say you've got Pat Mahomes and the other team has Lamar Jackson. Well, here's a bunch of real trades that have happened across sleeper leagues, and you can see the exact formats of those trades and what they look like, so you can see real deals happening in real time. Now, not only do you get everything that we just talked about on the website, but you also get a Dynasty team review from us on a live stream. We're going to start doing those again tomorrow. We did our first round last week, so tomorrow we'll be live around this time reviewing Dynasty teams. Again, if you sign up with our promo code LAND, become a Mother Flocker, we'll be reviewing your team, and so many other perks. The Dynasty Trade Show, the Fantasy Hotline, I mean, unlock premium Discord. It's such an incredible value. So just want to let you guys know that that is available to anybody who wants to support the channel. But we are using the landing spots from Pro Football Network's Ian Cummings' latest 7-round mock draft. And I will say, he starts off this mock draft with a 3-team trade, and a lot of people aren't going to like this, but it's fun. It's fun. The compensation is weird, doesn't make sense, but it's fun. So we're living in a world today. It's all about an exercise. It's all about, trying different things in different realities. All right. So the first trade, before we even get into these landing spots, the Broncos get Tua Tagovailoa and pick 137. The Dolphins get Justin Fields, pick 81, and a 2nd-round pick. The Bears get number 182, a 2nd from the Dolphins, and a 6th from the Broncos. So what we really need to know is Tua's a Bronco. Justin Fields is a Dolphin. That's the reality we're living in today. And let's get into the picks, where Caleb Williams goes to the Bears at 1 overall. Drake May to the Commanders. Okay, so apparently we're having some mic pop. Let's just fix that before we continue, because we don't want the mic pop in the entire way through. So just hold on. They should be able to hear you now. Let's try this out.
Hello.
Can we get some thumbs up if the audio is good in the chat?
Does this sound better?
Let us know, guys, if we're sounding okay. But all right, Drake May is a Commander. Jaden Daniels goes to the Patriots. The Cardinals get Marvin Harrison Jr. Malik Neighbors goes to the Giants. J.J. McCarthy at number 8 to the Falcons. Roma Dunze to the Bears. Brian Thomas to the Jets. You'd love to see it. Brock Bowers to the Colts. Then we get Keon Coleman to the Chiefs in the first round. Okay. Bo Nixon to the Giants. The last pick in the first round.
A nice little trade up there.
Then we see Jalen Polk to the Panthers in the beginning of the second. The Ravens add Xavier Worthy in the second. Trey Benson, my guy, goes to the Vikings with the 42nd pick, the first running back off the board. The Falcons add Tez Walker. The Raiders add Michael Penix Jr. Troy Franklin goes to the Colts. Adonai Mitchell links up with Bo Nix and the Giants. Oh, my guy Lad McConkey, the space creator, goes to the Jags. I kind of like that low-key. 48th overall pick. Then we see Malachi Corley to the Dolphins. Jonathan Brooks to the Packers. That's hot. Leggett to the Texans. That's all in the second round. Into the third, where we see Jalen McMillan, another my guy, to the Patriots. Jatavion Sanders. That's hot. To the Chargers. Let's see. Johnny Wilson to the Bengals. Bucky Irvin, your guy, to the Colts. He's a fun player. Jacob Cohen to the Steelers. Jamari Thrash to the Browns. Let's see. Anything else? Will Shipley to the Ravens. Ben Sinnott to the Commanders. Into the fourth round, where Ricky Pearsall is a Commander. Malik Washington, a sleeper I love, to the Titans. Taj Washington to the Bears. Links up with Caleb Williams. Jermaine Burton to the Raiders. Roman Wilson to the Falcons. Jalen Wright to the Bengals. I like that. Michael Pratt to the Steelers. Braylon Allen in the fourth to the Bucks. Cade Stover to the Texans. Luke McCaffrey to the Chiefs. Brendan Rice to the Bills. Blake Corum to the Niners. RIP. Into the fifth round, where we see Audric Esme to the Panthers. There's some other players here. Isaiah Davis to the Browns. You guys can look at the rest of this. Marshawn Lloyd to the Cardinals, which is cool. If you want to look at round 6 and 7, be our guest. The link is in the chat. It's also in the description. So let's go ahead.
Here we go.
And let's start 2024 Superflex Rookie Draft.
Wow.
No tight end premium. It is PPR. Draft a kicker and tell me who you want in the chat. And let's go ahead and start this thing off.
Put in the chat. Do it.
That's good to hear. Okay, awesome. Badaki looks like he's in heaven right now, apparently.
Yeah, I had the light in the background, which
you low-key actually look pretty good right now.
Thanks, brother. I got a nice little haircut, nice little setup. Still more things to come. So it's getting better. It's getting better day by day. Day by day.
Timothy, I agree. I keep saying to people that Lad, his speed is really underrated. All right, at the 101. I do not think we've had this before. Y'all know I like this player. And yeah, this is gonna switch things up. This is not chalked at all. Jaden Daniels goes at the 101 in this draft. He is a Patriot with the 3rd overall pick in the reality we are living in today. So he gets to join the Patriots. Whole new coaching staff there to surround him. I can't remember if they added. I can't remember if they added pieces to help him. They added Jalen McMillan, which is awesome.
McMillan, yeah.
That is great. So he'll have Jalen McMillan. We'll see what they do in free agency, as well as Pop Douglas. But he goes at the 101, Badaki.
Look, I think the trend that we're going to see, which I think it just clicked in my head. The rushing upside is going to boost Jaden Daniels to like the 101, which we've seen. We've seen in multiple like fantasy leagues. I know a lot of people do the NFL drafts or their rookie drafts right after the NFL draft, like the day of, like hours after. Once it's all done, and we've seen Anthony Richardson go at the 101 because of the Colts and the rushing upside. Does that happen with Jaden Daniels over someone like Caleb Williams and Drake May? I'm not necessarily sure he should, in my opinion, but I wouldn't be surprised if that actually does happen because, once again, of the rushing upside.
So you guys know it would be very difficult for you guys to find someone who loves Jaden Daniels more than me. It's going to be hard for you to find someone who's more in love with him. And I'm not saying this is a wrong move. I'm just saying it's surprising. The reason being is because I also love Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams has DJ Moore, Roma Dunze to work with as a Bear from day one, whereas Jaden is Jalen McMillan's probably his number 1 receiver to start his career. We'll see what happens. Again, y'all know I love me some Jaden Daniels. I mean, he has unlimited upside, but I'm a little surprised given the landing spots that Caleb wasn't the 101, but I can understand it. I can respect it. And a lot of people hate chalky drafts. Nothing chalked about this one, is there? Nothing chalked about this one.
Nothing chalked about this one here. So
speaking of the devil, Caleb Williams comes off the board at the 102. He joins the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields is a Dolphin. And Caleb Williams gets to start his career. New OC in town. Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet. That's a pretty damn good way to start your career there for Caleb Williams. So I think that makes sense here at the 102.
No question. Great landing spot here for Caleb Williams. Good weapons. Not only, like you said, you have DJ Moore. They do get another weapon. You just boost this team to the next level. Do they get a free agent running back? This team can be flipped 180 by the end of this year, or beginning of the new season here. So it's gonna be very interesting to see. Trey got into the last mock draft before. He's at the 103. He's taking Maserati Marv.
Love it.
Already at the 103. You love to see it.
That was a Brian Johnson, I believe, is the announcer for those games in the Big Ten. Anytime Marvin Harrison would do anything, Maserati Marv with the catch. You'd always go ham on that. If you know, you know. But Marvin Harrison off the board at the 103. Yeah, I mean, how ecstatic would you be if you were at the 103 and Marvin Harrison Jr. falls right in your lap? That would be awesome. And who knows? Who knows what ADP looks like in April, in May?
Exactly.
Hard to say, right?
Exactly. It is going to be very hard to say. With Marvin Harrison, it's going to be exciting though here. C-Bomb, 18 at the 104. Put it in the chat here. He says 104. Drake May. He goes to your beloved Washington football team. It has Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, You got big old the real Robinson, the Brian Robinson in the backfield over Bijan.
Mm-hmm.
That's a joke. But a good, phenomenal foundation for you guys to start here with your quarterback of the future.
Yeah, I think this is a great fit. It really feels, and maybe this is just me speaking it into life, it really feels like Ben Johnson is about to be the head coach of the Washington Commanders. And, that's what I want. I want a young offensive guru in Washington. So, new GM, new head coach. Maybe it's Ben Johnson. Maybe it's not. But you get a team that is completely around you, that wants to build around you, that wants you to succeed. So it's exciting for Drake May to come in here. Underrated athlete, could absolutely be a rushing threat in the red zone for sure. Could have that kind of appeal. I always see a little Justin Herbert in his game when I watch him, Badaki. So that's very exciting for a Washington fan who, by the way, when Chase Young was drafted at 2 overall, knowing that Justin Herbert win at 5 and Tua win at 6, that was tough. That was tough to see, especially not having a Justin Herbert type of player on our team.
Who was the quarterback at the time? Kirk Cousins, right?
No, we were rocking. I think was that Ryan Fitzpatrick era? I think it was Alex Smith. It was rough.
It was the leg.
So anyway, Drake May comes off the board. I love it. You're on the clock here. What are you thinking?
Yeah. Let's keep it short and sweet here. My beloved New York Football Giants takes the second best wide receiver in the draft class here, according to my rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Malik Nabers, a game changer, literally the wide receiver 1 on this team with Wanda Robinson, Jalen Hyatt. I was going to say Jalen McMillan. And then Danny Dimes, what an elite weapon here. Sheesh. At the 106 here for me.
I love it.
105, excuse me. 105.
Y'all know I'm a huge Malik Nabers fan, so to see him go off the board 1 pick ahead of me, it makes sense, but it hurts. It does hurt. Hurts my soul. Hurts my heart. But I'm on the board here, and good Lord, what a decision I have to make here. What a decision I have to make.
I think this is where. Let's see what you say.
I'm torn between 2 directions because there's to me the most talented player on the board is at the wide receiver position.
Right.
However, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I am a better scout of the quarterback position specifically. We always talk about how difficult it is to scout quarterbacks. As much as I don't see him being a top 10 pick, if in a super flex league, I'm at the 106 and I have a chance to draft a quarterback that went at 8 overall, I would be hard pressed not to make that pick. Again, I don't love this player, but in today's world, the world that we are living in, JJ McCarthy is a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. And I'm going to go ahead and take him here at the 106. Again, super flex league, first round draft capital for a quarterback that lands in an offense with Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. We've heard that Jim Harbaugh is having multiple interviews with this team. Could this be the reason why JJ McCarthy is coming over to the Falcons? It's either Jim Harbaugh or Bill Belichick at this point.
Bill Belichick.
But
those
what
are
I
the
know,
two rocking with their interviews.
What I know in this reality that I'm living in today for this exercise is I can draft a top 10 pick at the quarterback position, 6th overall, in a position that has incredible weapons all around him. I might not be the biggest fan of JJ McCarthy, but I am going to trust other people's judgment in the NFL on this one. I'll take the quarterback there.
Completely agree. That's exactly who I was going to say. That's where I would go if I was in your position. The quarterback, their top 10 draft capital to the Atlanta Falcons. You can't sleep on it. You can't overlook it. You have to understand. You might have to reevaluate. This could be a reality here for either JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix, if somebody really loves him, or Bo Nix, that can go in the top 10, top 12 in the NFL draft. And you might have to pivot in your NFL drafts or rookie mock drafts or rookie drafts.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think this is best case scenario for any first round pick, because at the 106, you're getting a quarterback that's a top 10 pick, or the 107 now becomes way more valuable because we're about to see, Rome Odunze comes off the board at the 107. You got other names that are now getting pushed down the board. So this is, in my opinion, the best case scenario for anyone who has a mid to late first round pick. Rome Odunze comes off the board. He went with the 9th overall pick to the Chicago Bears. So he links up with DJ Moore, Caleb Williams. They both have a great quarterback throwing them the ball. Obviously, Odunze is not going to step in and be the unquestioned number one straight away. That's the situation you would ideally want him to be in. But he's joining an offense that is ascending, and he's a very talented player. So Odunze, a great value there at the 107, I'd say.
Yeah, love the value, love the landing spot for Daniel Macy there at the 107 with Rome Odunze. I think it will be a 1A, 1B type of situation there for the Bears going into the 2024 season, if that is the case. Dolson is on the clock.
By the way,
at
just
the
before
108.
Just before we go on, because Timothy just said it seems like we're getting 4 first-round quarterbacks this year. How many do you think go? I think Daniels, Williams, May are a lock. That's 3. I would say 4 is the max. Actually, I would say 5 is the max.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think 5 is the max. I think the one that I feel confident in folding outside of the first round, in my opinion, is Michael Penix.
I think I agree.
People like the mold of Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy. So they can look at them and develop those guys where, you know, Michael Penix, that's a high upside shot in the second round that you can take, and maybe he beats out somebody.
Yeah. You and I are on the Bo Nix train. A lot of people not, and understandably, because the offense, someone said this, I don't know who it was, but they said it's a Mickey Mouse offense when you look at the NFL, and that's true. There's no way to say that's not true, but he is just such a smart player, really accurate. He can run an offense really well. But anyway, Rome Odunze is off the board. Next, we've got Brian Thomas Jr., who you and I, Badaki, were like, this is our sleeper of the year. This was back in December. This is our sleeper of the year. We're going to draft him everywhere. No one's talking about him. We're in love with this player. He's not a sleeper anymore. He's a consensus top 20 pick in the NFL draft, which is what we expected. We can't call him a sleeper anymore. We can't label him a sleeper anymore because there's no way this kid's getting out of the first round. He's that damn good.
Yeah, completely agree. He lands here with the New York Jets. He's flanking Garrett Wilson there. So another big body wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers that he can they can help to do a nice little Super Bowl run, hopefully, in the 2024 season. So I like this. Yeah, 100%. I don't mind this landing spot. I don't mind the outlook here for Brian Thomas going to the Jets at the 109.
Hey, we did just get a super chat. So anytime someone's going to donate to the stream, we will take a second and answer their question. So Kenan, thank you so much for the donation, man. He says, would you trade 110 and some change for Nico Collins? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We just recorded our Dynasty wide receiver rankings. That video will be out tomorrow morning. I'm excited for you guys to see it. But Nico Collins is in my top 12 rankings on my Dynasty wide receivers. So yes, I absolutely would take Nico Collins in this deal. Nico Collins side for me. Yeah. What about you?
I agree. I would say kind of what we were mentioning earlier. If we see these 5 quarterbacks that do get pushed up the board, where a talent like a Brian Robinson does, or Brian Thomas does fall to a favorable landing spot, depending on the landing spot, I might be interested. But Nico Collins, yes, I do really like. So at the moment, right now, I will take Nico Collins. But if you're telling me Brian Thomas goes to, in this scenario, the Jets, I'm still taking Nico. Okay. In my personal opinion, because of the longevity of that quarterback play that I'm envisioning with Nico Collins.
And it's funny because it feels like Nico's been in the league since like 2010. I know it's hyperbole, but he's the same age as Tank Dell. Rookie Tank Dell. He's the same exact age. At the 109, we're going to see the first tight end come off the board. Brock Bowers, he lands with the Colts in the first round. Really peculiar landing spot. I'm not saying it's not a need for them, but as far as trying to process this from a fantasy perspective, I can't wrap my head around it. Michael Pittman,
I think it's hard to envision.
Is probably coming back. We'll see. Maybe not. I think they'll bring him back. You got Downs. Now you got Bowers. Bowers is probably the best overall weapon in that offense from day one. But not only do you compete with some good weapons around you, you're asking the question, can Anthony Richardson support multiple fantasy weapons? Can he do that? Because we're talking about a guy who needed time to grow as a passer, only played 4 games, only finished 2 games, and in those 4 games completed under 60% of his passes. So it's a hard thing to digest, but you just go best player available here, right? And let it work itself out, correct?
Yeah, you have to. And I'm really concerned personally about this landing spot because we haven't seen too much of the tight end position be incorporated. But, when you draft a caliber tight end like this in the first round, you have to envision him getting some sort of work.
And you can make the argument that the reason it hasn't been implemented is because there hasn't been a person to implement. Because Shane Steichen did a lot with Dallas Goedert, right? In Philly, so...
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I know, is he the play caller?
Yeah, I believe he's calling plays.
Is he calling plays? Okay, so yes, we've seen
Colts fans. Let us know.
Let us know because I think it's Jim Bob Cooter or something like that. That's over there for the Colts right now, which is the offensive coordinator. Yeah, but a very interesting landing spot. Nevertheless, here we go.
Jim Bob Cooter is an incredible name, by the way.
Imagine naming your child name. Jim Bob Cooter or no offense, so the guys like Rudd or Bud or Red or shout out to them.
I think it's awesome. S tier name. Who's next?
At the 110 here, we see a quarterback actually in the second round, which is Michael Penix Jr.
Wow.
So still a couple first round quarterbacks, wide receivers, and he goes with Michael Penix Jr. at the 110, going to the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, obviously, if you guys have been with us, we were just talking about Michael Penix, the guy that we don't see being a first-round NFL pick, where he does go in the second round here, which makes sense. And the Raiders is an interesting landing spot because of Aiden O'Connell and where this team is going to go. Obviously, we've seen the new head coach get hired. You had Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Michael Mayer, Josh Jacobs staying with this team. I can see this could be a competition easily day one.
Yeah.
Coming into this year, if this is actually the case, but so, I tagged him as an elite backup quarterback.
And I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think he has the upside to be a starter, but obviously it's not a guarantee. I'm just surprised that the first round quarterback is still on the board before or after Michael Penix goes off the board. I believe at the 111 he's coming off the board here for Aselimo. I can't remember how to say it. Sorry, it's Sparrow though, right? I think that's Sparrow. But Bo Nix comes off the board. Remember, the Giants traded into the first round to select Bo Nix with the 32nd overall pick. So the Giants are saying, Daniel Jones, you're not doing it. You're not that guy.
Shit.
You're not that guy. And they're going to give the 5th-year option to Bo Nix. They're going to build around Bo. And did you guys draft any receivers? Malik Neighbors. You drafted Malik Neighbors.
We drafted 2 receivers.
And another name that weren't. Wow. So Bo Nix is set up to succeed from day one. I think this is a great value at the 111 personally.
Look, this would be incredible. Yes, 100%. Bo Nix going to my beloved New York Football Giants. If this is actually the case, I would love it. Here, not only do you get a wide receiver and you still get your quarterback in the second round, or technically at the end of the first, you trade up, get your guy, and that's exactly what you want, which gives you hope if you are a Malik Neighbors owner. If this actually is a possibility, you're saying, okay, they get a quarterback, and it's no longer Daniel Jones, a new fresh start here, which you like. So I love this landing spot for Bo Nix.
Yeah,
no question.
I love it. I mean, that's a very fun landing spot, and I can see easily how he would fit into that offense. I could really see how he and Daboll could work up some magic. At the 112, this is a rare scenario where I'm like, that's a really good pick, I think. Keon Coleman. These words are coming out of my mouth. I think this is a great pick at the 112, Keon Coleman, because he goes to a gunslinger. He falls to Kansas City in the first round. He's got a gunslinger throwing him the ball. I keep saying I think the upside is what Kenny Golladay gave the Lions in his prime. So, yeah, in this scenario, getting schemed up by Andy Reid, getting connected to Patrick Mahomes, I love the pick at the 112, even though I'm not a huge fan of this player overall. I'm not a huge fan of his profile. I think it's a good pick. What about you, though?
Yeah, look, I think it's a good value pick here going in the first round wide receiver, getting him at the 112. Do I still believe in him? No, but I think the value is there to where maybe somebody would like to buy the upside with Keon and Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, I see the pathway.
All right, that is the end of the first round. You know, every time we finish the first round, we ask the chat, what is the best value in the first round? So we're going to do that again. We're going to ask you guys, what do you believe in the first round was the best value pick? Go ahead and comment down below. And I always ask you, Badaki, who do you think the best value pick was in the first round here on the board?
Yeah, I think it's no question, personally, Bo Nix. Maybe that's my bias. But I think when you think of how the Giants has built around him, you get Malik Neighbors, you get Bo Nix at the 111, and Adonai Mitchell, who sorry, I kind of name dropped. I think you can get some really good value there.
Okay.
But could be wrong.
A lot of people are saying Brock Bowers. So Brock Bowers seems to be the consensus amongst the people, and that makes sense because he's such a damn good player. But do us a favor, guys. Go ahead and smash that like button as we're about to head into round 2. Y'all know at minimum we always give you 3 rounds. Do us a favor, go ahead and smash that like button. We're already halfway there. In fact, we are 39 likes away from 100, which is our like goal on today's stream. So do us a favor, hit the like button to show some support, and let's get up to 100 with your help. Who's the first pick of the second round, Badaki?
Yeah, so the first pick of the second round, we're going with a running back, and this is...
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's the second round.
Breaking news.
Yes, I did see this,
Tennessee Titans plan to hire Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan as their new head coach. Okay. All right, so Brian...
I'll be honest with you.
It's a little underwhelming, no? Of all the names out there?
Underwhelming if you are a Titans fan.
I'm not saying it's a bad
but
hire,
I think...
by the way.
I just think he's probably one of those guys like, wait, who? What? Why? You know, like, what? Maybe he was in the shadows a little bit. We didn't really understand. I don't even think this was reported that he was getting interviewed for this team.
I don't remember seeing that at all. I know. That's why it's a little bit of a surprise. But he's had a big part to play in Joe Burrow's success. Excuse me.
Yeah. So, look, I don't have too much information about Brian. I'm really interested to see. He is the offensive coordinator, so he has elevated this offense, no question, in the past couple of years with Joe Burrow coming in.
He was part of the Broncos staff when they won the Super Bowl 50 over the Panthers. He went to the Lions as a quarterback coach in February of 2016. The Raiders hired him as a quarterback coach in 2018. The Bengals hired him as an offensive coordinator in 2019. So he's been with Joe Burrow pretty much from day one. To be fair, that offense has been great. He's played a big part of the reasons as to why Burrow has developed the way he has. So that's interesting. I wonder what he thinks about Will Levis. I mean, because he's either going to decide, I want to stake my career on this guy or not. So that'll be... What could they do at pick 7? I'm not saying they... I think Levis is a starter. I think he is. I'm just saying. Who knows? Who knows?
I think that it's... What's really interesting about head coaches coming in is that he probably had the conversation like, what do you think about Will? He probably said, look, I like Will, but for my scouting already, I like somebody in an NFL draft better than him. If you're, you know,
I think he's shown enough to retain the starting position, but if he doesn't play well this year, I think that head coach instantly gets a pass of like, I tried it for a year, I'm moving on, guys, you know. And the organization,
I did what you wanted.
Yeah, the organization is probably on the same page there, but
yeah.
All right, let's get into the second round. Just a little breaking news there.
Yeah, a little breaking news. At the 201, our first running back off the board here, Trey Benson, going to the Minnesota Vikings. A landing spot we actually it's deemed very favorable for a running back. Um, what's the quarterback situation going to look like? Alexander Madison is clearly didn't work out with him. But you have a bigger, better running back here with Trey Benson going to the Minnesota Vikings. So I don't mind taking him. Well, he goes here, excuse me, at the 201.
Yeah, Trey Benson, y'all know my RB1 since day one. Big fan of this guy, and I'm glad that he's not falling in people's eyes. It seems like the more people learn about Trey Benson, the more film they watch, the more people like him, and that's encouraging for me to see, because when I had him as my RB1 when we first started the process, a lot of pushback, a lot of disagreement, and that's fine because this class is so, you could have many people as your RB1, but he's the first running back off the board. He goes to the Vikings. I mean, this is a perfect landing spot, man. I'm absolutely obsessed with this landing spot. So him at the 201, it definitely makes sense to me. At the 202, we are going to see Troy Franklin come off the board. Where did he go in this draft that we're using for landing spots?
He went to the Colts.
Okay.
Which is very, once again, like you get Brock Bowers in the first, then you get another wide receiver in the second round.
Huh.
Michael Pittman is gone, I'm assuming. You get two weapons here. I'm guessing they're trying to put as many weapons around Anthony Richardson as possible. Just so he can excel. I mean, if you really think about it, you did draft Josh Downs last year.
Yeah.
You sign Jonathan Taylor, you draft Brock Bowers, you draft Troy Franklin. Sheesh, that is 4 weapons with no excuses for my guy.
Yeah, I obviously love this player. I really cannot understand the landing spot. I mean, look, it makes sense, but this is worst case scenario, I think. Just too many mouths to feed. And in an offense where we don't even know if the quarterback can support a successful fantasy option for a year long anyway. So that's a tough call. We do have a super chat, so y'all know if there's any super chats, we will obviously answer it straight away. Thank you for the donation. Ricky says, "Would you guys trade the 110 for Kendre?" No, I don't think. I think that's too too much. That's too much. I love buying Kendre. I think he's a discount right now, but the 110 is asking too much. I mean, what
completely agree.
We're assuming Alvin Kamara could move on. What if he doesn't? You could be stuck with someone you can't start for another year. We know how talented this player is, but I think that's the price you would pay if Alvin Kamara was traded. I don't think that's the price you pay right now. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah. And there's no guarantees there. You buy Kendre on the low because at the moment, Alvin Kamara is still on this team, and technically, they do have an out on him 2024, but that's like, I think it's over like $12-13 million cap. So they have to trade him if they want to get rid of that money potentially. So I would say absolutely not. I wouldn't do that.
I would agree with you. Too high of a price to pay. Thanks for the donation, though.
In a one quarterback and a super flex league, by the way.
Both.
I'm not doing it in a one quarterback or super flex. So keep that in mind.
All right. So off the board next, a player that I'll be honest, I think would I take this guy over Michael Penix? I don't know. Maybe not. I think I would have taken him over Troy Franklin, though. Even though I love Troy, I just hate this situation that Troy's in. So Adonai Mitchell comes off the board. And remember, he's linking up with Bo Nix in New York, as well as Malik Neighbors, So Adonai comes off the board. Very talented player. We said recently that the ceiling comp for him is DeAndre Hopkins, as in if he develops as a route runner and becomes, one of the top 15 route runners in the NFL, then he has the skill set to be a Hopkins type player. That's not the guarantee, that's the ceiling. The floor is probably George Pickens at the worst. Maybe he could become a T. Higgins at some point as well. So exciting player in a situation where clearly Malik's your 1, but Adonai can develop into a very interesting number 2.
Yeah, don't mind the landing spot. I like that. We get to essentially a whole new offense. Getting 2 wide receivers and a quarterback. So yeah, I do like this landing spot here for Adonai Mitchell. going at the 203. And at the 204, we see Jalen Polk go. And Jalen Polk was the first pick in the second round. And he goes to the Carolina Panthers. Look, I don't mind this landing spot for Jalen Polk. I think this can elevate him to be either the wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2, I guess, behind Adam Thielen. I think he kind of steps into this offense. I like what I've seen from Jalen Polk. I think he's a very complimentary wide receiver. So I think this, I wouldn't have taken him here. I'll tell you that much. I wouldn't have taken him here. But I can understand
would
why
say
maybe you would.
There's probably 4 players I would still draft ahead of him, but he's in this range. He's totally in this range.
Yeah, with the draft capital, it makes sense. You know, in the landing spot, it is technically favorable when it comes down to competition. Right? Like Adam Thielen, Jonathan Mingo, if he emerges, DJ Chark. What's that going to look like? Does he stay? So I completely agreed here. I'm on the clock here at the 205. I think there's no question who's going to be my next guy here. I'm going to go at the running back position. That's Jonathan Brooks.
Love it.
He goes to the Green Bay Packers. I personally think, not personally think, he is my RB1 in the class, even after the ACL tear. I think he's going to get the draft capital, and that can instantly change once maybe he falls to the 5th, 4th round, and Trey Benson goes in the 2nd round, hypothetically. I think he's going to get the draft capital. I'm believing in a perfect landing spot. We've seen what Aaron Jones has done, and he looks phenomenal, Aaron Jones. So, like, this this kind of scares me for the 1 year, but this is probably perfect. If Aaron Jones does stay, Jonathan Brooks doesn't have to rush, but the pathway with him with Jordan Love and how they utilize the running back in the passing game, in the backfield, could be phenomenal here going at the 205. So I'll take Jonathan Brooks here.
I believe Aaron Jones would be on the last year of his deal in 2024. We do love us some Jonathan Brooks. You and I both had him as our RB1 before the injury. Trey Benson is ahead of him for me after the injury, but love this player. The landing spot makes a lot of sense. We'll say, though, Aaron Jones looks like he's got some juice left in him.
That's what I'm saying. So. That is what I am saying. That he looked great. Imagine he played like that the whole season.
Sheesh. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's looked great. So I'm sure they're going to keep him. But Jonathan Brooks waiting in the wing. Very exciting player. We both really love. And I'm on the board. I get a chance to draft a player that I love. I get a chance to hype up one of my favorite sleeper wide receivers of the class. I'm starting to see the nickname travel around the community, and I'm loving it. Y'all know I nicknamed this guy Lad the Space Creator, and he's coming off the board for me here at the 206. I love me some Lad McConkey. Always able to create space. A very underrated athlete. This guy is going to surprise people at the Combine. I really wholeheartedly believe that Lad McConkey is going to surprise people at the Combine. His 40 time is going to raise some eyebrows. He's that fast? Oh, okay, Lad. Underrated after the catch. Great separator. Ridiculous type of route runner. He lands with the Jaguars in round 2. And initially, it's like, okay, Calvin Ridley's a free agent. Okay, Christian Kirk's got 1 year left on his deal. You have potentially the future of Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville with Lad McConkey. And the good news about Lad is you can use him anywhere on the field. He is so versatile. He's a great athlete. He reminds you a lot of the Deontay Johnsons of the world, the Chris Godwins of the world. There's a little Robert Woods in his game too. I'm a huge fan of him. And I think this gives Trevor Lawrence a very reliable weapon. He caught over 80% of his targets in 2023. So yeah, Lad McConkey. His numbers aren't going to blow you away, but he is uber talented. I'm glad that he was available at the 206. And at the 207, probably who I would have drafted had Lad not been available. Xavier Worthy comes off the board. He went in the 2nd round to the Ravens. How do you digest this? Because I actually don't think that Zay Flowers is a very good comp for him. Personally, I don't think that they move. Zay is just like the lateral movement is different with Zay, but I can see it from like explosiveness, short area quickness. But Hollywood Brown was one of my favorite comps for Xavier. Maybe this is their replacement. He goes in the second round to the Ravens. Questions about volume. How do you feel about this spot with Xavier?
I actually don't mind it. If Rashad Bateman's gone, if OBJ is gone, I can see him filling in that OBJ role. Now, that OBJ or Rashad Bateman role doesn't get much production. Why is that? Is that because of the offense? Because of the player? Is because Lamar Jackson only hones in on one person? I'm not sure. But it brings more dynamic, more speed to this offense, which maybe can give him what he wants, right? What's really good about Xavier is his separation in the second level, and maybe that's what they've been missing. And Zay Flowers is more the slot guy. As much as I want Xavier to be in the slot, I would rather have Zay there and Xavier outside.
Zay played majority of his time in the slot, though.
I'm saying in my envision in this offense, he would be inside and then Xavier outside. But if you're saying that's the case, then that could be flipped. Then does that hurt Zay Flowers, or does that benefit Xavier Worthy?
Zay played 70% out wide, 30% in the slot. I think at the end of the day, it's just confusing as far as what's the roles here, because we've already got Zay Flowers, who you guys know I love Zay Flowers, but the issue is we're already concerned about Zay Flowers and his consistency. And he was a first-round pick, and he dominated as a rookie. He was awesome. And now we're adding another guy where we're like, okay, we're already worried about the number one and his opportunities at the wide receiver spot. Now we're talking about a number two. How consistent could he really be? It's tough.
I think I agree. I think there's just a little bit more dynamic and a little more explosiveness when it comes down to this offense as just as an offense. I agree. It's just as confusing when it comes down to who the hell's number one, number two, where is he going to get his production. But this team just gets faster with Xavier Worthy on this team. They can, once again, take the top off on the second level there with Xavier Worthy as well. So I hear you. I hear you when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so Xavier Worthy's off the board. Now at the 207, or the 208 rather, sorry. We see one of your favorite running backs in this class. I know you're high on him. I can definitely see him being a PPR threat. That is Bucky Irving off the board. Where did he get drafted?
He gets drafted to the Colts in the third round. So the Colts, once again, not only do they get Brock Bowers, not only do they get Troy Franklin, but they get Bucky Irving. I'm not in love with this landing spot for Bucky. I love the talent. I think he could be a PPR monster in the running back room. I'm comparing him to James Cook of this. He's my James Cook of this class. I think he could potentially evolve into a do-it-all type guy, first and second and third down type of player. Just don't love this landing spot. I can envision him, obviously, selfishly, the Chargers, the Packers, the Raiders, if they don't bring Josh Jacobs back, those type of landing spots I'm hoping for him.
Understandable. I do like Bucky, but you're right. I don't love this landing spot because there's not a scenario in which you outshine Jonathan Taylor while he's healthy. Now,
especially with that 3-year contract as well.
I'm all for taking him in like the third or so, somewhere around there. But there's just better players, I think, still available on the board, and guys that got even better draft capital. Tez Walker comes off the board next after Bucky Irving. Remember, Tez went to the Falcons. He was a second-round pick. He went to the Falcons. Not a perfect landing spot because you're not going to outshine Drake London. Bijan's going to get his. Kyle Pitts is going to get his. They did get J.J. McCarthy, so who knows? Maybe rookie to rookie in rookie camp, they kind of developed some chemistry. But I like the player, Tez Walker. I can't say I'm as high as other people because I have seen some people say he's their wide receiver 4. And I'm not sure I can get that high, but I really do like Tez. And this is a good pick here, is what I'm trying to say at the 209. Good pick. Yeah. Take a shot on the talent. Good draft capital. Yeah.
Completely agree. And look, the more and more I think about it, maybe it's the more and more I am straying away from Kyle Pitts. I think if they do get a caliber wide receiver, even like Tez Walker, I think he can be the number 3 which is still could be of value in fantasy.
Okay.
Like he can be the Christian Kirk of a team, or
I compared
maybe
him a lot to Christian Watson.
in I'm saying this in a production standpoint, not as a talent. In a production standpoint, like
Yeah.
he's not going to blow you away. He's going to be a good flex option. At some weeks, he can be a mid wide receiver too. You know, like that's the type of production I'm hoping and envisioning him, even in this offense.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Again,
That's where I was kind of going with it as well. As far as like, I'm also comparing him as a talent to Christian Watson, but also like the role that Christian Watson currently retains, which is like, 4 to 6 to 7 times a game, you get him kind of involved as an athlete somewhere in the game plan, but unlikely to be the number one. I do think people who are giving up on Kyle Pitts right now are giving up too early, so I'll disagree with you there.
Maybe.
But I do think Tez is... by the way, can we just quickly talk about how Arthur Smith ruined this team? 3 years in a row, he drafted a weapon in the first round. Pitts, London, Bijan. And 3 years in a row, he was at press conferences arguing with people as to why he wasn't using those weapons instead of actually spending time to scheme up ways to use them. So don't give up on anyone in that Atlanta Falcons offense, in my opinion. Any one of those guys are talented enough to pop off.
Look, I hear you. I hear you. I can understand.
At the 210, we've got a player that you love, and I have been honest about this. I have no earthly idea how to evaluate this player outside of his athleticism. Malachi Corley comes off the board. Absolutely would lead the nation in targets behind the line of scrimmage. Like, I'm 100% sure of it.
Oh yeah.
How do you? Yeah. So where does he go? I don't know how to evaluate this player. He
goes to the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, he goes to Miami Dolphins in the second round.
Yeah.
To think of this is very interesting because look, in this world, Justin Fields is on this Miami Dolphins team.
Yeah.
I don't see how he can get involved in here. If it was with Tua. Maybe. I don't think Tua is significantly less mobile. He's a little bit more accurate. Obviously, we've seen he's one of the most, consistent quarterbacks in that regard. I can see him getting utilized in different ways. Like, does he go back to? I don't know. It's difficult with Tyreek Hill being there and Jalen Waddle. I think they will get creative with him with Tua, but not with Justin Fields, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, that's a tough player to evaluate. But obviously an exciting offense to be a part of. So anyway, Malachi Corley off the board. I keep seeing people comp him to Deebo, and I'll be honest, it does boil my blood a little bit, just because Deebo was cooking fools as a route runner at the Senior Bowl. Like, this guy is not near the level of route running that Deebo was coming out. I just don't understand that comp.
I think he's being I said that he's the way I compared him is Deebo. He can be utilized the same way Deebo is used in San Francisco that year, where he had 50, 60 attempts in the
I get it from the gadget perspective, but the other things that Deebo does that makes him this next level receiver. I
completely agree. In a production standpoint and the way he can get used, yeah.
So
not as good as a route runner.
At the 211, Jatavion Sanders comes off the board. I would say this is a great value. Personally, love me some Jatavion Sanders. Just a ridiculous athlete who's super exciting after the catch that can develop into being an important part of an offense from year one. He joins the Chargers, and he's at the 211. That's exciting. That's exciting in my personal opinion. Imagine if Gerald Everett was actually good. That's what you could be getting with Jatavion Sanders. No disrespect. Why did we need to start on this stream and disrespect Gerald Everett?
Gerald Everett, a top 12 tight end last year or the year before something? Anyways, doesn't matter.
At the 212, one of my favorite receiver sleepers comes off the board. He will be, in this world we're living in, Jaden Daniels' number one weapon. Jalen McMillan comes off the board. He went to the Patriots in the third round. And he and Pop Douglas are going to be catching passes from Jaden Daniels in year one. So that's, to me, I would love Jalen McMillan anywhere where there's no answer at wide receiver. So this is great for me. because I think he has ridiculous upside. Love the pick. All right, guys. That is the end of the second round. We will do a third round. We'll quick fire through a third round. Do us a massive favor, though. Smash a like on the video. We are very close to 100 likes. In fact, we're just 8 likes away from 100. So with your help, we can get to 100 probably right now if everyone does us a favor and just hits the like button for us. But before we get into round 3, who is the best value of the draft? Let's just say of the draft. Now that we've done round 1, round 2, who is the best value in the entire draft? I want you to comment down below, and I'll ask you, Badaki, who is the best value in the draft through the first 2 rounds?
Best value of the draft? Gosh, that's a lot. I mean, probably has to be. Yeah, I'm thinking it's Tez personally. I think Tez goes at the 10. Was it 10209? And he was a top 45 pick.
Yeah.
That's how I'm envisioning it. When I think of that, it's like
Tez.
That's where I'm gonna go.
I like Tez. I'm gonna be biased and say Jalen McMillan, but I think Tez is a great value too. I think Tez is a great value too, so it makes a lot of sense. But a lot of people are saying Tez, so a lot of people are with you. By the way, anyone who's joining late, I just want you guys to keep in mind that we are doing today's mock draft using the landing spots from Ian Cummings' latest 7-round NFL mock draft. I put that link in the chat. So if you guys are trying to understand why certain players fell or why certain players are higher than others, go check out the mock draft while you're watching the video. It might bring some clarity. So let's go ahead and get into the third round. If everyone can quick fire their third round picks, that would be great. We probably won't spend as much time, but just go ahead and quick fire through. Keep selecting kickers all the way through, and let's quick fire. At the 301, a running back comes off the board. He didn't go until the 4th round. That's probably why he's still on the board. That is Braylon Allen. He goes at the 301 here. He's a Tampa Bay Buck in today's world in the 4th round. I think he actually complements Rachaad White really, really well. But with how good Rachaad White has been as a fantasy asset this year, Braylon's definitely not getting any work in the air complimenting Rachaad White. But he goes here, 4th round pick. Makes sense.
Yeah, completely makes sense. Don't mind the landing spot. How many rushing touchdowns does Rachaad White have, out of curiosity?
That's a good question. I do not know the answer to it, but it is a good question.
Because, I mean, if you think about his rushing, he has 6 rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
He was heavily used in the air. I think he would have had quite a few receiving touchdowns as well.
He actually only has 3 receiving touchdowns.
Okay.
I thought he would have more receiving than rushing.
9 total on the year, but they would complement each other well. I would say that.
Yeah, they would. Yeah,
complement each other well. All right, Xavier Legette comes off the board next. I know this is a player that you really like. Where did he land in the mock draft?
He went to the Texans. I thought he was going to go earlier personally. He went to the Texans in the 2nd round. He is the last player in the 2nd round that was available here. If you would have told me who was the best value of this draft after the 3rd round, I would easily say Xavier Legette, who was a 2nd round draft pick in the 3rd round. He goes to the Houston Texans now. What does the pathway look like with Nico, with Tank Dell? I'm not sure, but he is with an elite quarterback in CJ Stroud, and there's no question that he could be fantasy relevant, even if he's a 3rd option there. But maybe in this world he doesn't. Gosh, everyone's choosing. Maybe in this world.
I'm doing that. I'm listening to you.
Oh, sorry. Maybe in this world, Nico Collins is not on this team, hypothetically.
Okay, right. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. We'll have to wait and see what exactly everyone feels about Xavier with the Texans. I mean, yeah, you're right. Like, it's hard to really digest exactly when he becomes a fantasy asset that you can rely on, given that situation. So that makes sense from that perspective. At the 303, a player that you and I are not very high on, but he gets good draft capital here. Will Shipley comes off the board. He goes to the Ravens in the 3rd, right?
He goes to the Ravens in the 3rd. Yes, he does.
So
Um, don't love the landing spot, but look, I guess actually the landing spot is technically favorable because of, you think of Keaton Mitchell. When is he going to come back with that injury? You think of Gus Edwards. Is he
Keaton
going to
Mitchell,
stay
yeah.
here for another year? So it just really depends on how that looks for Will Shipley in this offseason and the Ravens if they bring in somebody.
I love this landing spot for a running back, but I don't really love how Will fits it. I just don't think he is an exciting, explosive player like I want them to add. But good draft capital, so the pick makes sense. At the 304, Johnny Wilson, this mammoth of a human being, comes off the board. And some
Goes to the
people
Bengals.
really, really love Johnny Wilson. He goes to the Bengals in this mock draft in the 3rd round. So maybe they move on from T. Higgins. If you're expecting Johnny Wilson to replace T. Higgins, he's not that player, but he could be an exciting weapon.
Just not that guy, pal.
Connected
Not that
to
guy.
Joey B. At the 305, you're on the board. What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm on the board. Sorry, I was not paying attention there. Okay, 305. Looking to see who is available. Gosh, I was not ready for this. I apologize. I guess I'll go with the wide receiver here.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yep, that's great. That's a great one. I'm just going to go with a wide receiver that is interesting, that has an interesting landing spot here, and I am going to take your guy, Jermaine Burton. He goes to the Raiders.
Okay.
He goes to the Raiders in the 4th round. Now, Jacoby Myers is here, Devontae Adams is here, but once Devontae Adams walks, whatever that looks like, maybe Jermaine does step up and could be a complimentary guy to Michael Penix Jr. in this mock draft.
I do love Jermaine Burton. I still haven't made a graphic for him. I was hoping Sleeper was going to put the rookies up already on the website, but Jermaine Burton does come off the board, and I do love me some Burton, so I'm big fan of that pick. I'll probably go for a running back at this point, and there's a running back that I really love. He goes in the 5th round. This is probably my Bucky Irving. You keep talking about how much you love Bucky Irving. Marshawn Lloyd would be my Bucky Irving of this class, personally. Huge fan of his game. Like you mentioned with Bucky, which is very true, he just fits the modern-day NFL really well. An explosive, dynamic, lightning in a bottle type of running back that you can give carries to. You can use him in the passing game. I love me some Marshawn Lloyd. He goes to the Cardinals in the 5th round. And, they need a weapon like this to complement James Conner. James Conner also going to be a free agent soon. So we'll see. Marshawn Lloyd has the opportunity to step into an even larger workload in that scenario. But you said James Conner. I'm actually going to say this is this year's Tajay Spears. I would say this year's Tajay Spears.
I said James Conner? What do you mean? Oh, you mean James Cook, you mean?
Sorry, you said James Cook for Bucky Irving. I'm saying Marshawn Lloyd is this year's Tajay Spears. So big fan of the player.
Okay.
And I'll take him there at the 306. At the 307, Malik Washington from the University of Virginia. A Virginia Cavalier comes off the board. How about that? We haven't drafted a Virginia Cavalier, I guess since Jelani Woods. Technically, Jelani Woods counted. But Malik Washington comes off the board. Love this guy. Just a hard worker, 5th-year senior, so he's going to drop a little bit, but he goes to the Titans, and he's kind of a perfect fit for the Titans. They need some sort of reliable space creator. A lot of his targets were at the line of scrimmage or, didn't have a very high average depth of target, but had the number 2 PFF receiving grade, and I'm a big fan of his game. A little bit of a smaller receiver, but I think he's a really fun, exciting player. So he comes off the board there at the 307, and Dawson is up. So let's see Dawson.
Let's see.
Let's see what he's going to do here at the 308.
Okay, so he takes Jalen Wright, one of your favorite guys here, going in the 4th round to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Love the pick.
If I'm not mistaken, this is better draft capital than Chase Brown downtown.
It is.
I think Chase Brown downtown was a 5th rounder. Correct me if I'm wrong there. So he goes to the Bengals. Interesting landing spot.
It is an interesting landing spot because if Joe Mixon was to move on, I don't feel like Jalen and Chase really complement each other that well. But I really like Jalen. I'm not sure he's a better player than Chase, but I don't think Chase is automatically going to be given that spot either. So yeah, over 7 yards per carry in the SEC. Lots of juice, great vision. I love me some Jalen Wright. After Jalen Wright, we see Jamari Thrash out of Louisville come off the board. Where did he go in this draft?
I'm trying to find out. I don't think he was. Oh, he went to the Browns.
Okay.
He went to the Browns in the 3rd round. It looks like
3rd round. Okay.
Somebody.
Yeah, decent draft capital for a really well-rounded player, I would say. I don't think he has like superstar upside, but he's a really, really well-rounded player. So I like that pick there. That makes a lot of sense. We now have Su Tang on the board, and he goes with Taj Washington. This is the USC receiver that actually in this draft links back up with Caleb Williams. So Taj Washington comes off the board. He's going to be kind of buried in that depth chart behind Rome, behind DJ Moore, but connected to his old college, quarterback. Who knows? Anything can happen.
Right. And 311. We're still waiting on Sparrow.
Ben Sinnott comes off the board.
Ben Sinnott. And he went to your Washington Commanders in the 3rd round.
Don't have a graphic for him, sorry. But yes, he went to the Commanders in the 3rd round.
Decent draft capital. Logan Thomas, obviously an older player, can easily be a developmental guy that can grow with someone like a Drake May.
Yeah.
Coming into this year, which could be awesome.
Yes. All right. So, and then the 312, we're about to find out, but 312 is going to be Jacob Coing, which he's getting a lot of hype. And we are going to give him another look through before version 2 is released of the 2024 rookie report. But
he went to the Steelers, not a favorable landing spot for him when you think of this George Pickens, Deontay Johnson. You think of the quarterback play, what is that going to look like for him? But yeah, somebody that I've been looking into a little bit already. I might be bringing a video of late round guys that you should keep an eye on. Who could be the next Puka? Is it Jacob? Is it Malik? Tajay? Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. That is it, guys. That's the 3rd round done.
Looking for the next Puka, please. There you go.
A couple names that didn't get drafted that were worthy of being drafted. I'm a little bit surprised that Audric Estime didn't get drafted. Look, I'm not the biggest Audric Estime fan, but he goes in the 5th round to the Panthers. I don't feel like Chuba Hubbard has that job on lockdown. And I feel like the 3rd round is all about just taking shots on running backs. So I'm a little bit surprised personally that he wasn't drafted. You could also put Brendan Rice there. He had a shot. Roman Wilson to the Falcons. But outside of that, I think we did a really good job.
Yeah, it was decent mock draft, very top heavy. No question. 2nd, 3rd rounders with a couple 4th rounders here. So yeah, love these landing spots. Not too bad.
That's really probably going to be it for today, guys. Do us a massive favor. Go ahead and smash that like button. Really appreciate y'all for all the love, all the support. We did hit 100 likes. We're over 100 likes, which is awesome. Thank you for the support, guys. We appreciate you. And we always say we're going to do a 5-minute Q&A and then it ends up being 30 minutes, Badaki. So I am going to change it up. We're going to answer 5 questions only. The first 5 questions in the chat, those are the ones that are going to get answered. Because we can't do a 30-minute Q&A after every stream either.
Yeah.
So the first 5 questions in the chat right now, we are going to answer. So, and the first one is, what is your favorite color? So that's one of 5. We don't make the rules up. Your favorite color is orange?
Yeah, I like orange.
I'll probably say blue for me. Mystic Flame, this is number 2 of 5. 12-team Superflex Start 11. He gave the 109 and 111 for A.J. Brown. Is that good or bad, Mystic? Come on.
Yeah, you know that. Another wasted question.
You're flexing. You're flexing. You know it. Of course you won this trade.
Yeah, you want us to hype you up.
You did win the trade. Is there hope for Treylon Burks? Well, new offensive coordinator? Probably not. Here's what you do with Treylon Burks. You hold him, you don't sell him, but you expect absolutely nothing from him. So the answer is probably not.
Yeah, probably. I would say probably not for me.
That's 3 out of 5. Where does the RB1 go in a one quarterback league? The better question is, what sort of draft capital does the RB1 receive? Because that
I think late first.
Question.
Yeah, I would say late first, personally. I would say 1-9 onwards.
Yeah. So I would agree, 109 onwards and one quarterback. But if there's not a running back that goes in the first 2 rounds, probably later, or the first 3 rounds, probably later.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, that is 4 questions. I see you, Mystic. I want to give someone else an opportunity to ask the last question. All right. Anybody else have a question out there, or should we just end the stream? Or should we answer Mystics and end the stream? All right, this will be the last question we answer is double L's. Whatever happened to KJ Jefferson? Is he declaring next year? Yeah,
he went back to college, if I'm not mistaken.
He went back to UCF.
And he transferred.
So, yeah, he's transferring to UCF, which is exciting, new program. But, yeah, he needs to have a standout year to really be considered a draft,
Well, he's already an older prospect, no?
He is an older prospect, but that doesn't really matter so much with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter so much with quarterbacks, but he definitely needs to ball out at UCF to really put himself on the map. But we said when we started this, we would answer 5 questions. That is 5. I'm sorry, guys. We don't make up the rules, except actually we did.
We actually did just make up the rules, and we're going to stick to the rules, so we appreciate each and every one of you.
We are going to stick to the rules. Let's end the stream, though. Guys, if you do want to ask us a question, the good news is anyone who signs up to become a Mother Flocker on the Flock Fantasy website with our promo code LAND gets a direct DM to us to ask advice on Discord. Okay? So there's the promo code there. I put it in the chat. Again, use the code LAND. Sign up to the Mother Flocker tier. You'll get a DM unlocked to us. You'll also unlock the rookie report that we have already released on the website. You'll get to dive deep into our rankings, deep into these prospects in the 2024 class. V2 is coming out soon on February 1st with a lot more information, a lot more players. You get our rankings, one quarterback, super flex. You can look at prospect rankings as well on the website, which is awesome. You get access to the trade calculator. You get access to the trade finder. You also, if you sign up to the Mother Flocker tier, get a Dynasty team review from us on this channel, which we're doing tomorrow night. We're going to review some Dynasty teams for people who support us. That's it for today. We appreciate you, and we'll see you guys next stream tomorrow night. All love.
Love.